So today we are discussing about file and file directory permissions, file and directory permissions. So last class, sorry, I'm already continued. So last class, what we discussed, guys, we discussed about user administration. So today we will discuss about file and directory permissions, file and directory permission, something like. So when you do a LL, right? When you do a LL, something like if it is a hyphen, so file, D is a directory. So after that, the permission is there. So the permission something like so if it is a file, something like RWX, RWX, something like RWX. So what this RWX? RWX, the first RWX is related to user or owner. Owner. The second RWX is nothing but a group. The third RDX is nothing but others. Third RDX is nothing but others. Okay, guys. So hyphen. So what is this RWX or RR? These are the file or directory permissions. So how they can so categorize or something like the first RWX is nothing but a user. The second RWX is nothing but a group. The third RWX is nothing but others. So something like you say this is something like the root. So this is the user permissions. This is the file permissions. And something like this is the owner of the file. This is the group of the file. So it's related to who created root user created which group root user group. For example, so Hari created the file. Hari created a file or directory. So Hari belongs to Hari is the user. He belongs to a DevOps group. DevOps group. So here something like hyphen RWX, something like RWX. So something like so this is the owner. Who is the owner? Hari. Hari is the owner. Who is the group? Group is the DevOps. So this permission is related to others. It's not related to group. It's not related to user. This permission is related to others. Others who are not part of the group or who are not part of the owner. So others permission. Others permission. So something like this is the user permissions. User permissions. So what is RWX? RWX is nothing but R equal to read. So the numeric format is 4. So W equal to write. Then the numerical format is 2. So X equal to execute permissions. Execute permissions, something like a 1. So read write execute permissions, something like the root having a read write execute permissions, but the group having only read and x. Hyphen is nothing but a 0. So if hyphen is nothing but a 0, hyphen is nothing but 0 permissions. Hyphen is nothing but a 0 permissions. Hyphen is nothing but a right. So read write execute. So read is nothing but a 4, write equal nothing but a 2, execute equal to so you want to read the file. So you want to read the file only. So something like you can see. So this is the so something like for example. So owner having which permissions? Only and execute, read and write. So part two, something like only read actions. Group having only read actions, and others also having a only read actions. In numerical format, what is the permission? Something like so something read write means 4 plus 2 6. So and so read means a 4. Read means a 4. So what is the permissions? 644 permissions are there in this file. So what is the file permission in this directory? So RWX means a 7. So 4 plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 1 7. So owner user having the seven permissions and group having the only RX. RX means only R 4 plus 1, 5 permissions. What is the permission? 5 permission. So RX means 5 permission, 755 permission. So the directory having the 755 permissions, or root having the 644 permissions. How it will get these permissions? How it will get these permissions directly. So we have a limit. We have a user mask value. U mask value. So U mask value means user mask value. So user mask value, something like for root user, user mask value default 002 002. So normal user mask value 002 777. Yet the full permission is 777. It's like 0 or 2. So what is the reminder? So reminder is 775. So 775. Yeah. The UMask value for the root user is so something like a normal user is 002. So here 0 something like 0 0 2 2. The UMask value for the root user is so 0 2 2. So the normal user UMask value is 0 0 2. The normal user UMask value is 0 double 0 2 2. So the normal user mask value is 0 0 2. For example, something like so a root user, something like a root user. If you create a directory as a root user, so what is the default values? 777. What is the umask value, guys? 0 2 2. 0 2 2. The permission is, what is the permission, guys? Subtract this. So subtracts 7 755 permissions three. So when you create as a root user, if you create that directory, it will get automatically 755 permissions. So along something like if you create a file 666, you must values, guys, mute yourself. The default you must value is something like 644 permissions. 644 permission. So you see, so as a root user, so created a a file directory. This is the directory. What is the permission came? 755. So when you create a file, what is the permission? Default permission 644. A default permission came. Right, guys? The same way. So as a normal user.
What is it you must means?
So umask means user mask value. User mask value means, so if you want to create a file or directory, what are the permissions will get if you create a root user. So will you get create a normal user. So you will get it once I'm creating the file or directory. Just
Okay.
Okay, so something like umask is nothing but a user mask value. Something like that. While defining the Linux OS, so they created a umask values for a root user and normal user. So this root user, so something like so 644, right? RWX. Here, can you tell me the permissions? RWX means Josna. RWX means 4 plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 2 plus 1. So next, 4 plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 2 plus 1. So now, what is the permission? 7, 7, 7. So if you want to give the full permissions, read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. So only read, write means writing, execution means it can execute or read something like delete or modify or so the permissions. For it readable. So 777 is the full permission. 777 is the full permission. So if you want to 777, you can do it through it. So if you create a file or a directory through a root user, what are the default permissions will get? So the default permissions will get based on the umask value. So based on the umask value. So root users umask value is 022. So normal users umask value is 00T. So this is defined by a who developed a Linux. So who developed a Linux? That guy defined a umask value for the root user and normal user. So normal users umask value is 7775. So 775 for a directory. So a normal user's umask value for a file is 66002. What is the guys? 664. 66. So 4. So this is for a file. So this is for a directory. This is for a directory. So something like so a normal user. So when you create a normal user, you will get that for the the default permission for the directory is 755. The default permission for the a file is so file is file is 666 So if you create a root user, 755 is the 755 is the directory permission. So 644 is the file permission. Yeah, Henry.
Yeah. What is the 022? What is the 022? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Why do we
you
have
will
to
understand.
subtract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why do we
they
have to
create
subtract?
yes. So something like so I logged in as a root. So I logged in as a root user. I logged in as a root user. I'm creating a file. I'm creating a file. Something like I'm removing everything. RMF a star. Star means guys everything will be deleted. ls. There is no file or directory in the root directory pwd. There is no file or directory. Something like I'm creating a file or directory, something like hari.txt. Yeah. So I saved without data, something like ls. Yeah, the file is created. So the file is created. So what is the permissions will get? So what is the permission we'll get as a So if you create a file, create a file with the root user, what are the permissions we'll get? So we'll get 644 permissions. Let's see. So RW means, guys, RW means R plus W, 4 plus 2. Guys, tell me, what is the permission? 6. So what is the permissions, guys? R plus W. Guys, tell me, what is the permission? R means Henry, 4 plus 2. Hyphen equal to 0. Right? Hyphen equal to 0. So next, so R, only R. 4 plus 4 plus 0 plus 0. Next, a group others. 4 plus 0 plus 0. Yeah. Now tell me, what is this? What is the permission for the owner? 6. Right? 4 plus 2 equal to 6. So what is the permissions for the group? 4. So what is the permission for the group? 4. What is the permission for the file? 644 permissions. So if you create a file, by default, what is the permissions will you get? Will you get the 644 permissions? 644 permissions. And now you understood, Josna?
Yes.
Let's say, yeah, I'm creating a directory, something like mkdir. So mkdir, something like us ls ll. So what is the permission you get by default?
755.
Yeah, 755. So let's see. 757 775 is came or not. Yeah. So RWX means 4 plus 2 plus 1. So this is for a user. The second one, RW, R-X. So 4 plus 0. Hyphen means 0 plus X means 1. So next others, 4 plus 0, 0 plus 4 plus 0 plus 4 plus 0 plus 1. Guys, tell me, what is the permission? Is 7, 5, 5. Now you got it? So what is the permissions? So we'll get by default 755 permission. So for a file, so what is the permission, guys? 755 and 644 permission, right? Yeah, you see. So the umask value is the default value. So when you create a file or when you create a directory, so the permissions came automatically. So it came from where? So because of this, the permissions for a file and the permissions for a directory came. So because of the umask value, 644 for the file and 755 for the directory. So what about a normal user? What about normal user? Hmm. If I'm sharing this screen to you. Hmm. So what is the permission? 7 double 6 something like I logged in as a is here. So that's CTC shadow. Okay, or okay. Yeah. So having there and CTC our user is there. So I logged in as a our user duplicate session. Our user. So rather have meeting already are reset the password as a ready. This time I'm having something like so PWD. There is no files and directories here. I'm creating a file called something like a touch LL. So LL. So what is the permissions? RW. Guys, tell me here. RW. RW means R means 4. W means 2. 4 plus 2. Guys, tell me what is the permission? 6. So hyphen means 0. Next. So group RWX 6. So only R means 4. So what is the permissions? So if you create as a normal user 644 permissions. 644 permissions. So sorry, 664 permissions. Let's see if we create a directory mkdir something like us class. So I created as a directory something like rwx. So rwx means 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. So the group also rwx 7, 4 plus 2 plus 1. If for others, so r hyphen x. R hyphen x means 4 plus 0 plus 1. So 5. So if you create a directory, so you will get the 7 permissions. So if you create the if you create a file, the permission is 664. So 775 for the directory, 664 for the on a normal file. You understood, guys? Why it came? So why it came based on the umask value. So it will get the default permissions for a file or a directory. So guys, now you understood? Josna, Henry, Josna.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. You understood, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So is there any possibility to change the permissions? Yes. So we have something like the command is chmod. Chmod is the command to change the permissions of a directory or a file. So directory or a file. So something like chmod. Chmod if you want a full permission for this file or a directory. 777 a file or a directory. So file or a directory, something like for example. Yeah, a file or a directory. Yeah. So this is the logged in as a root, something like so pwd. So in the root directory, so ll. So we have a two files. So we have a file and directory. I want to change the permissions for the a file chmod. So what is the file permissions of 4 plus 2 6 644. So I'm giving 666 permissions or 655 permissions on a array.txt 644 655 655 655. So let's see if the permission is changed or not. Yeah. So Harish changed something like RW, RX, RX. Before it is RR. Now it is changed to RX, RX. So what is the command, guys? Chmod, change modifications. Change modifications on a file or directory. You can use the chmod. You can use the chmod. So let's try for the a directory also. So what is the permission? 755. I'm giving a 777 permission to 777 permission to a directory. Let's see. Yeah. So RWX means everyone. A owner can modify, delete, and read. So group can modify, delete, read, and the others also, other people also who are from something like Josna or Nagraju is not part of the DevOps group. So I'm part of the DevOps group. So those guys, Joshna and so Nagaraju can delete, modify, edit. So guys, don't give the read write execute permissions to the others. So in the production, so definitely there will be a cause. Everyone can delete the directory. So everyone can delete the directory, read the directory, modify the directory. For example, something like in the US class one. So there is no directory. Something like I'm creating a directory in dir US class one. What is the permission? Definitely 755 because of so the default permissions is 755. So but but if you change something like I'm changing the permissions cd dot. So what is the US class? US class permissions are now 777. I'm changing the permissions to so 775 7752 US class one. Let's see if US class one have in US class one having another US class one directory, but US class one directory having the 755 permissions. So I'm giving this 775 permissions to US class. Let's see. So if this in the directory subdirectory, if US class having a subdirectory US class one. So let's see if the subdirectory also changing the permissions or not. Yeah. 775 RWX RX 775 permissions changed to use class one. Use class. But let's see the same permissions will affect on the in the subfolders also. CD US class one. Yeah. 7755. The permissions are not changed. The permissions are not changed. Yeah. So if you use the command chmod hyphen capital R means recursively. So whatever the permissions you provided in the provide for the main directory, so the same permissions will get on subfolders and files. So in this directory having a something like three files and four directories. The same whatever the permissions we are giving for the main directory, so it will get the same permissions in the subfolders and files also. Subfolders and files also. 775. Yeah. So the permission is 775. Let's see in the directory. I'm going to the directory. Yes, I'm in the US class one directory. So you can see something like a 775. Yeah, the permission got changed. So while using the hyphen R option, hyphen R means recursively within the directory having a subfolders and files. That files and directories also change by using the hyphen R options. Hyphen R options. Hyphen R options. Guys, got it? Guys, understood, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So the user permissions. So something like if you change the user permissions, so a root. I want to change the owner and I want to change the group. Yes, we can change it by using the chgrp ch avon ch1 change of ownership. I want to change the group also change grp. So change the group and change the of owner. Change the of owner. Linux file permissions. So what we will cover in this article is how to identify the permission for the file and directory. So I need to identify the permissions for a file or directory and how to change them, as well as changing ownership and groups also. Depending on what you want to do, so you will want to make sure you will have a appropriate permissions. So let's find out how to change them. So something like Yeah. So this is the permissions are broken into four sections. So one is so something like so if it is indicates file or directory or a, so something like a directory or a link file. So this is the owner. So this is the a group. This is the others. Read, write, execute permissions for the owner of the file. Read, write, and execute permissions for the member of the group owning the file. Read, write, and execute permissions for the other users. So chmod add and remove the permissions. We can add and remove the permissions, directory permissions. We can give the numerical format or a character format. So don't confuse, guys. So we can use the only numerical format. Don't use. Yeah. So something like yeah. CHGRP changing the groups of a file or directories. Another useful option is to change the file permissions of the group owning by the file. So perhaps you create a file, but the people on the DB2 team can write execute as well. So we can use change GRP for this purpose. Change GRP for this purpose. Something like you can see the above that text file and work folder belongs to the users group. Belong to the users group. Which group belong users group? So we want to change it. Something like a CHGRP sales a text file. So say CHGRP sales a work folder. So before these are the users directory, users group. So now it's related to, now it's changed to the sales. Now it is changed to the sales. So by using this command, saying grp, the name of the group of the file, name of the file, you can change this. Something like here, so here sales. Something like sales is the, so now the sales is the group for the file and directory. So this gives a sales control of the file. Then I can take the take away permissions for the everyone else. So note, the group must exit before you try to assign the groups for the files and directories. So ownership. Another helpful command is changing the ownership of the file and directories. The command is chown along with the name of the new owner and name of the file. So something like you want to change the file. Something like a chown tom text file and work the file. I will show you guys. I will show you the so -r is nothing but a so the above command gives the ownership of the directory and all the files and subfolders. The -r stands for the recursive, which is why all subfolders in the files belongs to a Tom as well as yeah. I want to change the so I want to change the file permission. Something like so use class one. I'm trying to change the permission as a owner or user. Hari is there, right? Hari is the owner or user. I'm trying to change ch1 Hari colon root use class one. Yeah. Now I change it to the user and owner. I change it to the Hari. Something like I want to change the group also. CGRP. So what is the group? So root having a so the group having root, but I am trying to change it to Hari. Change it to Hari. Yes. Now you see it's changed. Before it is root, but now it is change it to change it to something like Hari Hari. Let's see. Can change etc group. Let's see what are the groups. Something like Devops is there. So yes. Now I'm changing the permission to so group is DevOps. So group is DevOps. How we can change CHO something like Hari colon. Mm, I want to change the group rate CHGRP Hari colon colon or you can directly create a DevOps to US class one. Yeah, it's changed to a DevOps group. Before it is a Before it is root permissions. Now it is changed to so DevOps. Now you understood, guys? The same way. So if you want to change the ownership or group of the directory, subdirectories, and subfolders, you can use the hyphen R. So GRP, you can use the hyphen R. Guys, understood? These are the file permissions. These are the file permissions. Guys, go through the document. Go through the document. So 0 means no permissions, 1 equal to execute, or 2 equal to write, or equal to read. So 777 will give the read, write, execute permissions for everyone. So full permissions. Guys, you can read this document. Now you understood, guys, the permissions. Guys, understood? Josna,
Yes.
Kim, Nakachi,
Yes.
Yeah,
Sai.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you want to change like group. Like, why do you have to change? Like, do you have to change the group, or you just change individuals in the group, the users?
yeah. So this is the owner. This is the group. So who created this file? Owner is nothing but who created the file. So which group is belongs to this directory or file? So that is now this directory or file is belongs to DevOps group. So in the DevOps group, whoever there in the DevOps group, they're having a permission to access this file, this directory. Understood, Henry?
Yes, but like you want to change permission in a group, and
Yeah,
like you have a group DevOps.
yeah,
Um, what did you actually change in that group? Did you change um the group entirely so that it won't be there won't be? I don't understand like the whole thing that you did about the group anyway.
yeah. So if you want to change the group or if you want to change the ownership, so ownership or this is the ownership. So this is the owner. This is the group. So if you want to change the group or group of the file or a directory, so you can change it. If you don't want, you don't want. So because of so the by default when you are creating a when you something like I logged in as a user, so it's automatically something like I'm creating a mkdir us class 2. Let's see what is the permissions. So will you get what is the permission will you get while creating the directory? So the owner permission is root and the group permission is also root. So I don't want to access only root. I want to access DevOps people for that group. So you can modify instead of root, you can modify it to a DevOps. So whoever in the part of DevOps group, so they will be access this folder. They will be access this directory. Understood?
So ordinarily they cannot actually access the directory if you don't modify
Yeah, you don't
the
want to. Yeah, you cannot modify. You cannot modify. If they don't want, you cannot modify the directory permissions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If they want, if the DevOps people wants to use this directory, you can give the permission. Otherwise, you cannot. Understood? If they wants to use this directory, so if you change the directory, so whoever part of this directory, this group, so they will access the directory or a file if you change the group membership. So if you change the ownership also, so something like root, we don't want to access the root. We want to access this file. So a directory from Hari. So you can give the ownership permissions. You can change the ownership permissions from root to Hari. So if you want, you can do. Otherwise, you don't want. So you cannot modify the a root array, something like a ownership array, group ship. So for example, while creating the OS. They provided some of the so file permissions by default. So you don't want this default, so you can modify it. However, we are modifying the user group others the same way the ownership and group also. So we can modify. How we can modify? By using these commands: ch1 for the owner and grp is for the group. Chmod is for the changing the file permissions, user group others. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you.